Well, it's a good time when you have Anand Ahuja and Nimish Shah with you. I mean, you don't like interviews very much, don't you? It's very difficult to pin you down.
No, I mean, it's just we've been busy with a lot of things, so it's that more than anything else.
Okay, so what is the idea behind Bhaane with a double A? So what does it mean?
So, you know, when we started talking about Bhaane, we were just trying to go back, what was the reason behind the brand and how it started. And I wanted to hear from Sonam and Anand of what Bhaane meant. And then mid-conversation, Anand said, but actually, you know, we've spelt it wrong all along because we conveniently dropped the accent over A. So Bhaane means rising sun in Gurmukhi, and then when you translate it in English, it needs an accent or a double A. And then I was like, but we need to get it right. We need to have those two A's. And Sonam obviously was like, I knew something was wrong with this name. She obviously had a feeling of like, no, something's not right. And then I started looking at from a design perspective how it sort of balanced off the name. There was Wabi Sabi element to having two A's, and just like it felt Asian, it felt a lot more sort of complete, and it was just like, you know, one of those things you do for soul, and that's where those initials came.
Yeah, she had identified, like Nimish said, she had said that it was wrong also, and then I I remember that, you know, basically I'd read it in the text. So in the text, when you translate to Roman alphabet, it is two A's. But in one text I'd read with one A, and I liked it more like visually back then, you know, in 2012. So use that, but even in that text it had an accent, and I just sort of decided not to use it. So when Sonam came into my life and Nimish came into my life, then they sort of had to keep me honest, you know. So that's how we said, okay, cool, we're looking to evolve, and we should do it with the right spelling so people know how to say it also. That's yeah.
And I'm wearing my Bhaane shirt, though it's 2 seasons old, but there's some things that never go out of style.
As I said, it's even more special now.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So what is the idea behind Bhaane 2.0, 2020?
Yeah.
You know, when Pani started, it was always perceived as sort of a brand you set up out of your garage, and it was always about like basics, having like a clean foundation wardrobe and classics. And then again, through our sort of you know, brainstorming workshop, we kind of figured where it needs to go. I was very keen on it becoming more sort of active than a passive brand. We wanted to become a little bit more aspirational, but yet fairly humble.
It's, you know, Bhaane is the same, you know, since then, but it's just more evolved. So that's what Nimish said. We didn't have anyone really leading the creative focus or having the creative focus on it that we needed to have, and we knew we needed it also, and it just sort of all happened at once. Where when I met Sonam, and Nimish have been friends for a long time, and the way it all evolved. So it all came together at one time. So it feels like a new sort of a new reveal. And so we said, let's use it that way, and the name change and everything. But you know, the way we look at the brand is the same. What we talk about is the same. That's why, you know, what you're wearing is the same. It's just now we have a lot more of a creative direction, and a singular voice, and a more evolved voice, and a more mature voice that goes towards the brand.
So which is that one fashion fad of your wife's that you just cannot understand?
That I can't understand.
You just cannot fathom. That one style. Because she's various personalities. Sonam is different style personalities.
Yeah. I know she's pretty versatile. Like, you know, she's sometimes, I mean, she wears sneakers really well. She wears heels really well. She loves her flats generally. I mean, her style is something that I think both of us always have admired. So it's hard to say. Not clothes, but I always tease her because she gets so many gifts, and she's always posting them. And so I'm so confused, like, you can't post everything, you know? So I tease her about that. I haven't really teased her about any specific trend of looks that she wears yet. But when she was younger, she had a very goth style. She had black lipstick and stuff. So I can't picture that. I think if she wore that today, I'd probably tease her about it,
Yeah.
You know, I think she's got her finger on what works for her. She's very rarely sort of, you know, gone wrong or hold on to anything. She's not held back on any particular, like, you know, she keeps evolving, which is amazing, because it's so easy to identify what works for you and then stick with it. But she challenges both her and Ria, for that matter, and they really know what works for them from anyone, and they're not sort of, they don't have to be brand loyal, or they don't have to follow one particular league of design. She does couture as well as high street. And she, the best part about Sonam is she takes pride in it. So she'll come to office wearing Zara, and she'll be like, "Go guess what I'm wearing." And it's almost like throwing a trick question. I'm like, I don't know. It all looks amazing. So I mean, that's what I'm saying. So with her, it's not about the price tag or the make. It's really about the beauty of the garment, which is why she wears vintage very well, and she wears she'll probably wear like a Korean brand and shock us. So I think her statement is really like, I discovered this and I found this. How cool is it?
The one thing that is pretty funny now, I've seen it a few times, is like if we're going to a basketball game. So last year we went to a game in LA, and this year in Bombay the game was there. So she's just like clueless. She's just like, I want to wear a couture dress, And Ria's like, you can't wear a dress. Then she wants to wear a pantsuit or something, and then eventually her and Ria figure out what the right vibe is. And but that's one situation where I've seen her. She's like, I just don't know. Should I wear sneakers and try to be cool, or should I wear heels and just be myself and like that? It's pretty funny. So the seeing her think about what to wear for a basketball game is pretty funny.
And when I was speaking to Sonam, she always says that you have influenced her so much, and you're the best thing that's happened to her. Has she also influenced you, creatively influenced you, and your,
I mean, I think Sonam influences us both all the time. she's very opinionated, which is great. She's very black and white. She is, and she's very intuitive. So there's a lot of things that both of us learn from her. Nimish is actually really good balance of the two. Like Sonam is very black and white about things. I'm very actually grayscale, and sometimes that's good in certain situations and not good in some. And Nimish is able to balance both. So when it comes to Bhaane, actually three of us are a really good team. Personally, obviously, Sonam has a huge.
And also, long before diversity became a thing, it was your brand that was using regular people, as they say, Aam Janta, as models instead of models. What was the reason behind that?
Well, we just really wanted to show Bhaane was for everyone, and we wanted Bhaane to be sort of like it's like the paint, and then you're supposed to make your own art out of it. So it was always about empowering people and about showing how different people wear the same style different ways. And that's what it was. So we would show the same style in different colors, worn on different people in their own method. And that's what we wanted to show, is about empowering people. And so now Nimish has taken that into a more mature way. And it's not on like just our friends and family, but it's still a very similar vibe, in the sense that we're showing how it's worn on an everyday basis, and like I said, in a lot more mature manner.
Coming in, and also with Bhaane, what would you say is the unique selling point? Also, 6 years ago when you started, and now, what is the difference that you've also seen in market, and also with the millennials being very shared economy, not wanting to splurge on luxury?
That's an interesting point. When we started Bhaane in 2012, none of the brands had come, and that was part of the reason we started it, because when I came back to India, we saw that there was so much young talent, there was so much art, there was so much people in blogging and music and photography and design, and even at our parent company Shahi, we saw all the young designers graduating and coming in, merchants and design. They had such a strong aesthetic, but there was no brand that spoke to it or spoke to them. And so when we started Bhaane, it was really about making stuff for ourselves. And Gap wasn't there, Uniqlo wasn't there, obviously, Zara, H&M, they all came in the time. And even though our brand is not in the same thing, but we didn't have, and that's when we really started feeling that we needed, a singular creative direction. And that's why it also feels like a nice evolution now, because Bhaane is not meant to compete with them in the sense that of what even the price points or the visual aesthetic is, but we couldn't really show our difference because we didn't have the capacity to do so. And so that's what we're doing on Bhaane, is about speaking to those same people. It's like young creative professionals, and that's what Bhaane is about. We weren't supposed to be a big mass market brand or a high street brand. We are a very small, sort of more niche brand, but we couldn't show that because our design quality wasn't there yet. And now that Nimish is on, that's where we've been able to go.
And also, you're a self-confirmed sneaker geek who also has curated the only curated sneaker store in India. It's Veg and Non-Veg. You even wore sneakers to your wedding. So will we see Bhaane and Veg Non-Veg collaborating at some time?
Yeah. You know, it's been really important for Bhaane to develop its own handwriting. And you know, we've obviously Bhaane, even though it's older than V&V, it takes time to build a brand. You know, what's great about V&V is that we get to work with great partners, established brand names, you know, all the sneaker brands that we work with. So it gives a sense of genuine, you know, people believe V&V right away because we're working with, you know, the Nikes and Adidas and Puma and Vans and all these big brands, and Bhaane, we're trying to develop that. So Bhaane is it takes a lot longer, and so we're very careful of, you know, just collaborating, whether it's even with V&V or with other brands, because Bhaane has to really establish what it stands for before it can start doing collaborations, you know. And so, you know, obviously in this collection, there's a few, and they've been done very tastefully. What Nimish has done with Godrej and stuff. So that's, you know, a little bit of it, but you know, we would love to do something with sneaker brands and stuff. But I think that it takes time, and you have to build your own brand before you do that.
And also cities, they say Delhi has a very different fashion sensibility vis-a-vis Mumbai. So are you going to be catering to the two different styles, or is it just going to be one uniform style?
I think that's the beauty of the brand. When we are designing collections, they are sort of separates. It's mindful of various body types, various sensibilities. We're not selling looks. We're selling one t-shirt at a time or one trouser at a time. What it does is it allows sort of everybody to interpret in their own way. So it goes back to original DNA of the brand, where it is people who turns it around. You look at our team, everybody, I mean, people wear it in the most weirdest way, and I wouldn't have imagined of styling it like that, but that's the beauty of it. Or sometimes I see Anand wearing it very different. I was like, I never thought anybody'd wear it like this. Or a different size. Like I see girls, like skinny girls, taking extra large t-shirt and wearing it with, like, you know, with like running shorts or tights or whatever. And I think that's the beauty, because they look at each garment on its own and not a prescribed way of wearing it.
Yeah, I was just telling Nimish on Saturday, I was at the Bhaane store in Bombay, and had some meetings there, and then when I was getting in the car, the team had 12 bags of clothes that they were sending to house for Sonam. And obviously it was men's and women's, you know, so she's just basically taken a lot of stuff that she'll wear, so everyone's wearing it differently, you know, and that's what's so fun about it.
And other than Anand and Sonam, who do you think is the other most stylish couple, or do you think we can't go beyond them?
You know, there are so many people. Like I actually, I mean, a whole lot of my friends, they really, like, you know, mix up things, and it's literally people living amongst us and go to work every day. So while Sonam Anand obviously are, like, you know, the most sort of sought after or sort of looked like they've got their microscope on their head, but with so many couples, I mean, I can't really name anyone. It's not just celebrityship. It's really about enjoying sort of fashion, wearing clothes again, repeating them and mixing it up, and more than anything else, making mistake. So lots of inspirations. I don't know who to pick right now.
Recently, I mean, like we, in terms of celebrity, you know, Kareena and Saif, like great style, you know,
yeah.
Saif
but
especially.
You know, it makes them stylish because they don't
wear
care
their own
about
way.
it.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
Kareena literally doesn't care about clothes, and she takes 2 minutes to want to look fabulous, and she just like turns out. Same thing with Saif. It's like, oh, this is gonna fit me, or this is not gonna fit me, and they just like roll out and look amazing.
She wears a lot of Bhaane too.
She does, and she wears it very differently than we would have imagined, and very much in her own way, because like Nimish said, she literally doesn't care. She just wears what's comfortable, and then she goes, and it looks great. And Saif is in the same way. You know, he's a little bit more formal in a lot of his style, which is really nice to see.
And also Bhaane is all about keeping it real. And here, I mean, whenever we see you and Sonam, you come across like a very, very real couple, because you're holidaying together, you're putting up posts. So what is Anand and Sonam's idea for good time? What is a day like in Anand and Sonam's life? Because we know she reads a lot.
Yeah. No, I mean, when we're here, you know, obviously she comes in here pretty often when she's in Delhi, so that's always nice. We go for like walks. I mean, we're pretty boring that way, but we can walk and talk, and even when we hang out with Nimish, it's just a lot of that over. She loves Gujarati food, so they bond over that.
So the bonding and the conversations are mostly around food.
Yeah.
With Sonam, it is always about the food. Like there's always a platter.
Yeah.
Next morning, the two of them are in the gym working it all out.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's always on the schedule. Like you see a lunch. Like when Sonam arrives, it's like the two of us will eat out of a small little box of like measured food, and Sonam has it all out.
Yeah, all
and
over
like
the
she
table.
literally will eat a little bit of everything. So her day revolves around planning food, I think.
Yeah, especially with him because the Guju connection, I guess.
And literally we bond over food. It's insane.
She says she was Guju in her last life. Yeah.
Thank you so much. So
Thank
who's
you.
the OG Bhaane guy or girl? Who's that one person who comes to mind?
Anand. That's the easiest question ever.
Thank you so much, guys, and all the very best.
Thank you.
Lovely
Thank you.
speaking to
Thank you.
Thank you.